Hi and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create dot-to-dot coloring books. They are also known as connected dots. So let's get started. First thing, you need to have Librava.ai account. So basically you just go to Librava.ai and start creating for free. Then you have to register and stuff. In my case, I already have an account. So once you log in, you will be redirected to the Librava Studio. In my case, I'm just going to click here. And there we have it. So the first thing we need to do is to create a project. So I'm just going to click on create new project for this. And you can either choose custom. And in here, you basically provide all the details and all the configurations of your KDP book. And to save you some time, you can also just choose one of the pre-configured templates. So as you can see, this one is using trim size 5.15. And yeah, it has black and white. Paperback. So we have these kind of pre-configurations. So I'm just going to choose the 8.5 inches trim size. And in this case, I'm just going to call this dot to dot. For the description, you can leave it however you want. And then for the page count, we start with 24. You can always add pages and remove pages, reorder pages and stuff. So you have full flexibility when it comes to managing your pages. I'm clicking on next. This is just a recap of what we are going to create here. And then click on create project. Once the project is created, it is automatically opened in the Librava Studio editor. And as you can see, this is our first page here. You can also toggle like page by page view. From this sort here, you can also jump to a specific page just by saying here, like I'm going to go to page number 10, and it takes you straight to page number 10. This is like a quick way on how to navigate your way. And since this is a dot-to-dot book creation, I'm going to show you how to do it using AI, right? So basically you go to the Illustrator and you choose coloring book, and then you can provide a theme about your book, so you get these coloring book kind of pages, right? In our case, I'm just gonna say like ocean animals alphabet. I don't want to enable interactive story mode for this one. And then I don't really need to generate cover because I'm not going to create a cover for this one. And for the language, I can choose English, or you can choose whatever language you like. For number of pages, for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to basically choose 2. And I'm going to use the 2K HD. And then here, I'm just going to leave it to simple because I'm targeting like kids. So it's going to have like bold lines and less detail. And if you want to have like standard one, you can just click on detailed, and for adult, you can choose complex. So I'm going to click on create the outline. So the AI now will go and try to generate multiple pages, the pages that we request, in our case, 2 pages, to basically create an outline for your book, right? And here we go. So we have already 2 pages. So 1A is for anglefish and B is for beluga whale, right? And then you can either click here to generate an image one by one, or you can just click on generate remaining here. As you can see, they are already in progress. You don't really have to wait for these images to get generated. You can actually exit and then get back to the process once the images are generated. All right, we have now 2 pages. This is our first image. So you can actually zoom into it to see how it looks like. And then if you don't like it, you can always click on regenerate. So the AI will generate another one. And then we have the A for this fish here. And yeah, they look good to me. So next we move to the layout. I'm going to click next, and then we have different way on how to add these into our pages. So we can add it in a bordered, and then plain with title, and bordered with title. I'm just going to basically use the bordered with title. And then we have the option where to add them, either generate new pages, so it will automatically create 2 pages, or if you want to place them on specific pages on your book, you can just select existing pages. And in my case, I'm just going to do number 1 and number 2 because I just need 2 pages. And then click add to pages. And as you can see, the first page has already been populated. This is our title, and this is the image that we have. And then the second page is here. So if you created 10 pages or 20 pages, you can do the same process pretty much. All right, now we have our coloring pages, and then these are like in rasterized format, right? They are a 2K or HD images. For the print, I would recommend that you basically vectorize these, right? And you can do that easily by clicking on, like select the image and click on vectorize. So clicking this will turn now this image into a vector image that is much better for the print. Now you can see this is like a vectorized image. I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to click on vectorize, and what I'm or I will leave it this way because then I can show you that even without vectorizing, you can still use the dot to dot tool. All right. In this case, this is a vectorized image, and now I can basically click on dot to dot. When you click on dot to dot, you can have your mouse turned into this, and then you can basically start clicking here. 1, 2, maybe this one I go back, put it here. And then finish. And this is how easy it is to basically turn it into a dot to dot or connect the dot coloring book, right? You don't want to make everything dot to dot, but you can also do that. But you can also just sum of the image is like a dot to dot activity. And obviously you can configure these, so you can use straight line instead of the curved one, which works best for our case. And you can also increase the diameter. You can also increase the width of the path, right? So here now I hide that one. And obviously we can also change the size of the labels. So you can configure all of these stuff. And obviously now when you click on this dot, you can change the position of these letter, right? So if you click, now it's at the top, now it is on the right, now it's the bottom, now back to the left. So you can click on them to position these so that they are readable and they don't come like on the way. And that's pretty much how you can create dot to dot page from your coloring pages. And again, this was like vectorized, right? If you don't want to vectorize it, which I don't really recommend, you can still use the regular image that is not a vector image and turn it into a dot to dot, right? So I can just click on dot to dot here and I start doing that. Just gonna click here, here, here. Basically just tracing what I want, and then if you don't like how it looks like, you can always go back and change it. So I'm going to just not do that part, and same thing, we can play with the dot sizes, the labels. And one thing I would like to also show is what we want to show here, right? You can show the dotted guideline, or you can hide them so it just dots, right? And you can even, if you want to do like the whole image as a dot to dot, you can then even hide the image if you want, right? In our case, I think it's good to do it this depending on your audience. And yeah, you can also change the opacity. So for example, you can still do a dot to dot for the whole image and then still leave it this way. In our case, I think I'm just gonna leave it in this Direction similar. This one, the 10 is like not in the good place, so I'm just going to click to move it to the left. And that's pretty much how you can create coloring books. You can also review your book in a 3D way. So you can do this here. This is our first page, and then this is the second page, right? And obviously you can always go back and edit the dot to dots, right? So you can always click on add dots, and then you can still continue in from where you left. So I'm going to do this one here as well, and then do finish, for example. And I'm going to turn back the dotted lines so it's easier for the kids to follow. And what I'm going to show you as well, I highly recommend that you basically have the coloring page on one side, and then the next page is a blank page, so that when they color, the ink does not really get out to the second page, right? So it would be nicer. And to do that, we can just go to this grid view here and simply move this page, for example, here. So now we have the first page, and then a blank page, and then the second page, and then the blank page, and then the other coloring images that you want. Obviously, we can also basically move some pages to be like here. This is going to be our title page, and then the blank page, and then the book starts. And you can obviously always add pages right away from there. So this is our coloring page, and then, for example, for the title, we can just do something like here. I'm just going to go to the text here and then do like ocean animals. And you can increase the size. I'm also going to position this to be in the center, middle of the book. And you can always choose different fonts as well. So we have like thousands of fonts here. Maybe this one. Now for the color, maybe we can choose some. But anyways, our book, we chose like black and white, so it's gonna be like black and white print, so there is no need to add more colors. Maybe you can add some information on your book, so you can design your interiors however you want, right? You have the full flexibility to edit the pages and create really unique, high quality books instead of like these just quick random generations that you will get banned on Amazon or even on Etsy. So once you are done with your interior and stuff by creating all the rest of the pages, you can then design a cover right inside Librava editor as well. So this is basically the page. I'm just going to click to close this one and zoom out. So this is a template for the cover that is requirement from Amazon KDP, right? If you are not familiar with it, so this is the front of the book and this is the back of the book, and then we have different margins that are highlighted here. So this one, the red one, is pretty much the trim margin where the cut will happen, and then the orange is a safe area, and then you have this turquoise here. This is for the spine because my book is only 24 pages. I don't have a huge spine to play with. And then here, this is pretty much your barcode area. And obviously you can either use our designer to generate a cover, which is an AI generated cover, or you design it from the ground up. Check out other videos to see how you can create covers using Librava editor. Once you have the cover and the interior ready, you can always download them. So you click on download, or you can just go to file and download, right? So if I click on download here, you can see that you have the options of PNG and vector PDF. This is the requirement for Amazon KDP if you want to print it. This could be something you can use if you are just printing these pages for your kids at home. But if you want to like create something to sell, vector PDF is what you should choose. And obviously you have all the pages of your project available here, and you can select which pages to include in the final PDF. You can either select all, or you can just basically do 4 until 4, right? So I'm just gonna select the 4 pages that I had here. And obviously you can also select this one and click to select pretty much, right? And then I'm going to click on export. This will queue the export, so depending on how busy the servers are, it can take some time, but in our case it's pretty fast because we just have a few pages. And then you click on download, and as you can see, this is our PDF for our book. And this is how you connect the dots using Librava Studio. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. And for the cover, you can do something similar pretty much. When it comes to export, you just switch to cover here and then click on download. That's all I want to show you in this video, our new feature on creating dot-to-dot books. Obviously, you can either generate your pages from using our AI, but if you have already like coloring images or coloring pages that you can use, what you can do is go into media and then you can upload them. When you upload the images, you can just go to media library and click on upload. Then you are able to upload the images that you have and then just use them in the pages, right? So for example, this is a page and I can actually see some of the previous pages that they had created here. So I can just go to what I have, and you can, for example, add this image, and similarly you can just go ahead and do dot to dot and start adding the dots that you want, like this. Yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to show you, that you can actually use your own images if you have. You don't have to generate images via AI. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.